fuck, okay, episode 41. Last time I saw you was when I did the interview with Danny Fernandez.
All right.
I know the world knows that, you know, there's things that are going on with you and Danny Fernandez, and we're gonna put that aside for now.
For sure.
But your journey has grown. You have grown as a person. We are at a new Indigo Art Studios right here, which is incredible. All your plaques are on the wall.
Yes.
A lot of evil eyes and elephants, and you know, just to get away, just to make sure that there's no spirits that ever come in here and interfere with your energy. So, that being said,
whoever knows me knows that I'm a huge collector of like Turkish eyes, like blue. Even the page is named after indigo. So the page is named after indigo. Indigo means like the blue, that royal blue that we all know.
Amazing.
And you know, it's all about that, right?
Yeah.
So it's all about the good vibes.
Well, this is what I call a pre little chat. But let me get to it right here. So, you tatted a girl's lip long time ago. Do you remember what it said on your Instagram at the bottom? One of your first posts.
Oh
Do you
my
remember?
God. I think
about it. While I take out my phone.
Listen, I've done few.
I'm talking about one of the first.
I am thinking on the top of my head the ones that I was like, what is this like what's happening here?
It was a picture of her like showing the lip. Do you remember what it said?
It would say, stay weird.
Yes!
Stay weird.
Yes!
Memory.
Yes, there you go. I don't know if it's gonna lock in there, but it says stay weird, okay?
Yeah. Listen,
awesome.
I have all kinds of like...
That's crazy.
I have all kinds of like, I done Gucci. I did
fuck.
one time like, I mean, I'm sorry my French. This is
all
gonna
good,
go
man.
This is gonna go on the YouTube. This is gonna go on your page.
It's all good.
There was one girl that it says "Come Dumpster."
Wow. And when you got it there?
It was hardcore. It was some hardcore shit. Like I said, well, yeah, this is happening. I'm guessing, but that one that I posted specifically, I'm like, I'm so happy that I remember.
Was it harder because it's the lip?
It's a different technique. It's just completely different technique, and the most annoying part of everything is the drooling.
Oh yes.
And I have to be constantly like wiping, you know, drying this area with a paper towel. It's uncomfortable, like it's really uncomfortable. But and then I obviously need the assistance somehow of the person that to hold the other side. So then when you actually do the strokes, you know, you actually do the tattoo, then it looks like proper. But I've done all kinds of crazy shit. Amazing.
Also, your very first post ever that only had one like on Instagram. This
at
was
the very bottom.
January 14, 2013. You wrote my sketchbook, quote unquote. Does this ring a bell? The sketchbook that you did? Because this was the very beginning, but
I have, and you know what? This is like back when like the Instagram game, this whole game started, and
oh yeah, 100%.
we were all starting it was like a new platform somehow, you know.
Yeah.
And then I said, well, here I am doing my things, and I have a bunch of sketches that I post. Back then I think I post a lot of drawings. Like I used to draw a lot. I draw every day. Like I think in the years I've been doing this, I drew my life away.
I know, and you even did like a huge, one of your first pieces was a massive owl piece in this guy's chest. Like almost like his full chest coming to his stomach, and I'm like, you got into it right away, right?
I do remember this, I think this was a Brazilian boy, and I'm like, this boy was so brave because I was like, man, this is gonna hurt, you know?
How many hours was this? Which I'm gonna show you guys the picture right now. Do you remember? I know it was a long time ago.
I think I remember this post about this owl that I did on this Brazilian boy. This took me, I don't know, like 2 sessions, and then back then it was like, I don't know how many hours, probably 3-something hours each. Oh yes, I remember that. Oh.
Yeah.
Mateos. Yeah.
And by the way, this was your sketch.
I know.
In case you forgot. Now I have one more thing. You came to Canada at 18, hopes of being a famous painter, but zero plans of tattooing. Zero
plans of tattooing.
Wow.
I never in my life thought of, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do for a living. This is, you know, even on all our interviews in all the places that I've been asked, you know, and a lot of the tattoo artists usually have been either involved in the tattoo industry or they call their attention like the whole tattoo thing. No, I'm a
Amazing.
painter. I was an art student, young as
Yeah.
with a lot of dreams.
Yeah,
And like, I'm going to Canada and I'm gonna sell my paintings and thousands of dollars in a gallery.
And then by the time you knew it, it just went. Born in the city of Havana, Cuba, Lorena found herself through the love of art, picking up a paintbrush at a very young age, which led to her studies of Element Visual Art Institute at 19 years old. Entrepreneur, business owner, Indigo Art Incorporation, art studio merch, magazine vlogs, been on articles, Insider, Now, Spanish interviews, English interviews. You have came a long way. And I've always said this on my other shows, it's important to give your flowers while they're here. And you know, Beyond the Views podcast wants to give your flowers because you have came a long way from Cuba, Havana. You know, hearing all these words and achievements that I just, you know, described to you, like what's one word, what's something that just like comes to you hearing all these things that you accomplished?
Resilient.
Yeah.
Resilient.
Yeah, yeah.
I think very perseverance and very resilient. I am a very stubborn person. I mean, on the usual, I listen. You know, I take a moment. I learn on the go. Everything that you just said, it happened on the go. This is nothing like planned.
Yeah.
Or oh, I am going to do. No. You know how many doors I knock and they like literally slap it on my face?
But they don't see that though.
And now these doors are opening and we're like, well, we know who you are. And I'm like, now you notice me. Nice.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. You moved to Toronto in 2008 while finishing school in the OCAD from the fine arts that you studied. But then you got into the industry in 2009.
Yeah.
You know, I want you to take us back to your upbringings in Cuba.
Yeah.
You know, you as a little girl before becoming who you are today and moving to Canada. Because I also want to add though, I can't speak on all of the Spanish parents out there, but all I know is that me from Nicaragua, tattoos is a no-no. It still is. My parents don't fucking like tattoos and they don't like my tattoos.
Eso es del diablo.
Yes.
Eso es del diablo.
Esos son de los pandilleros, you know? They just don't like it. So also with you adding on your upbringings from Cuba with your parents, how did they adjust with the fact that this is what you wanted to do possibly and the fact that you're covered?
And I'm so covered.
So bring us back to Cuba. Maybe Cuba, young girl, 16.
To be honest, well, I come from a military family. Like I'm from my father was a high officer in the military. And my mom was a housewife, but it's just very like old school. You know,
that's how it is.
Madrecitas, you know,
That's how it is.
It's like very old school, very, you know, this is Spanish lady, Latina, like very school. I want my daughter to be like a lawyer and like a doctor, you know, I mean, that type of stuff, bro. I have to compromise because from early age, I show, you know, artistic skills. Like I was that girl that was always involved in like activities, event, artistic things, happenings and performings and ta-da-da. So then slowly I kind of like realized that what I liked the most from all that, from dancing, singing, I went through all, see it all. From early age, from piano lessons, ballet lessons, gymnastics, like everything. And then I said, you know what? I want to do art. Like I want to paint. That's what I want to do. I want to paint and I want to draw. That's what I want to do.
Right.
My mom, I'm telling you, like my parents were concerned.
Yeah, of course,
my
because they
parents
want you
were
to get...
concerned. My brother's a lawyer, like he's a successful lawyer. So can you imagine? I'm like, what the hell is going on? You're like the bohemian of the family, you know?
Yeah.
Eso loco con lo que andas, you know, like all these artists that you're hanging out with. And it was a lot of struggle when it comes to that. But I remember this happened. This actually happened. I took my mom. After I became successful, one of the things that I did for her was like taking her on a vacation. And Ciro, this was like a 5-star VIP, you know, all type of shit vacation. So by the second day, we were sitting having breakfast. I would never forget this. I was sitting having breakfast and, you know, enjoying the vacation, beautiful patio, like on the beach, ocean view. And I said, Mama, are you enjoying this? Are you having a good time? She was like, yeah, oh my God, my daughter, of course, my hija, you know. And I said, I just wanted to let you know that everything that's happening right here and everything comes from this.
Wow.
And she said to me,
wow.
She put the coffee down and she was like, so you don't have no other job? No, mama, I don't have no other job. So this is what you do for every
Motivation.
day. This is what you do every day. Yes, mama, this is what I do every day. And she literally took her coffee and she was like, maybe Rita Tuertes is not that bad.
Shout out to, your last name is Lorenzo.
Garcia, Lorenzo.
Lorenzo, shout out to Miss Lorenzo. That's an incredible story right there. Wow, that gave me the chills. So you were little, you know, you knew this is what you wanted to do.
Yes.
But you did not have any initial plans on what you were looking to do when you got to Canada.
Oh my God,
What
no.
was the initial move that you said, you know what, I'm going to Canada? And why Canada? Why not the US? Why not?
Okay, so that's actually the question of the million because, you know, como cubana,
Yeah.
Latina, you know, a lot of Cubans, what do? They immigrate to the States. They go to Miami, they go to Florida, Orlando, you know, like the warmer, you know, the sunny side.
Yeah, right.
They don't want to be at the north, they don't want to, you know. So when I started to inquire, at that time it was very, very difficult. Remember, we're talking about communism, we're talking about Cuba, we're talking about back in the day. And I was accepted as an international student by OCA, like I was accepted here. So I applied, I was trying to leave. I'm gonna tell you like super blunt, straightforward. I'm gonna be super honest when it comes to this. I'm like, I was trying to leave. I was trying to leave Cuba. I was like, you know what? I'm not meant for living here. Like this is not happening. I saw my parents, the struggle, the whole system, the economy. No.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to leave. So I was applying to different schools, international schools. I was actually thinking like which country will accept a Cuban, like a Cuban as an international student, because it was this whole paperwork that you need to do to leave the island, you know, right? So that whole thing was like a different experience, let me tell you. So I was in that year. I remember this because I went back years after, and I had to go to the embassy to sign some documents. One that I was already Canadian. I was already Canadian, and officially Canadian. And then I went to the embassy, and one of the staff from the embassy recognized me from 4 years. And I'm like, how the hell you recognize me, man? Like, it's been years. Like I haven't been here in years, you know. And he said, the year, I remember you because the year that you applied for your student, only you, in the whole year, only you and another guy were accepted as a student, like in Canada, right? So I said,
it was like meant to be.
It blew my mind, like literally blew my mind, because I was like, are you serious? And now you're shitting me right now. Like this is a joke. And it's like, no, I remember, because I remember your interview. Believe me when I'm telling you, it was a very serious interview with this officer in the embassy. It was like, it took me over an hour. They asked me all kinds of questions. My English was really great. Like my English from the beginning, like I speak English since I'm 12.
Wow.
Like my father used to translate books like in other languages, so that's why languages in my house like always the same. My brother also speaks languages. I speak language. My brother speaks more languages than me.
Really?
So to be honest, I was like, I think it was honestly like as a journey, but it was all falling. It was falling everything in place as it went, right? So I was like, I arrived here with full of dreams, full of that, you know, with all my savings. My God, like all my savings. My savings were gone in 6 months.
I can only imagine.
I was literally we all know that term, that starving artist. You know, we all call, you know, we all know that term.
Yes.
So I was that for a long time, for a while.
Wow.
And I was taking all kinds of gigs. I worked as all kinds of retail jobs, you know, just to make it happen, because obviously the reality of being here and being young, and then you realize there's bills to pay, there's things to do, there's fees, there's this, there's that. Like you are not at 18, 19, you're not ready for that. And then coming from a communist country that you don't know anything about this country. You don't know nothing. But luckily I have also a lot of people around me, friends. I started to become like friends, acquaintances, you know, really good people. People, surround myself with good people that it literally kind of like guide me and like shoot, like go,
to get a little
started,
started,
you know?
a little bit.
Exactly. But it was a roller coaster of emotion.
And you came here by yourself.
I did.
At a really young age.
I did. And I honestly, I'm like, I'm not coming back. Like, you know.
How did your parents feel that, you know, their little girl has left the country to another country to pursue?
Well, by that time that happened, like my dad passed, so my dad already passed, so I only had my mother, and I said to myself, you know what, I'm so sorry, but I'm not even doing this for me. I want to provide, and at least to be like, you know, Mama, I'm gonna give you the, you know, what all immigrant kids want, like help the parents, help the family, da da da. And I said, if I stay there, I'm not gonna be able to do this.
Yeah, yeah.
I still remember my mom yelling at me on the phone. Like this was something else. Like after 6 months of being here, I said, I'm not coming back. Fuck this.
Wow.
I'm staying in Canada. Never mind. And I called my mom. I said, I got good news and bad news. What do you want to hear first? And then she's like, when I told her, I'm not coming back. Like, you're not going to see my ass until I'm actually like, you know.
Something's going on.
I have a status.
You can send back somebody to run
Exactly. And she went crazy,
yeah,
obviously. You know, I mean, come on.
I can only imagine.
Lorena, what are you going to do in this cold country by yourself?
Yeah.
You're crazy. I'm like, I remember this whole thing. And I said, you know what? Do you want to have a nice life in the future when you're in your older days? You want to have, then I got to stay here.
Yeah.
I can't go back. I'm like, I can't. And now, even, well, we crack jokes now. Like, actually this morning, like I was talking to her this morning. She calls me sometimes in the morning. And I said, aren't you glad that I'm Canadian now? Aren't you glad that I am who I am now?
That's amazing.
And she's like, I know, your dad will be so proud. So, you know, it's something that she tells me, you know? So I'm like, yay for me.
Did she ever want to come visit you here?
She does. She has been here. She already experienced the winter. She already experienced summertime. She's been here in every state, like every season. And I really hope that at some point, you know, obviously she joins me like here, like forever, you know.
Yeah.
But I think I speak for all the people out there that enjoy and have been living in the warmer like weather. She's like, oh, I'm so used to it, to my jardín and my patio,
that's
and you know, in the sun all year long. So I'm like, I know it's difficult. I know it's difficult to make an adjustment, especially if you're 60. If you're 60 years old, it's not the same thing coming here with 18, like what I did. I'm like, I'm crazy. I'm going. I'm not coming back. And you are somehow passionate, but you're like reckless. You're young.
Yeah.
But someone older that is already set on her ways, you know, like she's like, I don't know.
You can't adjust at that point.
Yeah, but she has a visa. I usually have her, you know, super visa on point the whole time, so she can travel. She only calls me like, can you get me a ticket? I'm like, all right, come over. Now, everyone back home, like family members, even friends, I'm sure they've seen your journey. I'm sure they see your success here in Canada right now. When you go back home, do you ever get the cold shoulder from even family members or even friends that just changed on you for no reason other than that you're doing well? Absolutely.
You have a lot of that?
It
happens, right?
It happened progressively for different reasons. I kind of find sometimes that they just find like excuses, or like it's just something to be like just mad. Or like I feel that little bit of jealousy underneath there, like hidden, you know, somewhere. I say to myself, you know what? And I feel like I learned with the years to not take anything personal. So I will say,
well said,
and I will say this for all of you who are watching this: whatever opinion that people have of you is not of your business.
Yeah.
Listen to these words. It's not of your business. You know what you're doing, and you know your journey.
Yeah.
And you know what? And I feel like the hardest part for these individuals to sink in their mind is that we all come from the same origins. Like we all come from. But look at how far I got, and they're still in the same place. I'm like, you know what? But that's not my fault.
Right.
This is not on me.
You got up and you pulled some.
Yes, I work hard. I make it happen. I have to reinvent myself 1,000 times.
Yeah.
So I can get where I am.
That's incredible. You might not know this, but like you already had it in you. You know, the entrepreneurship. You don't know this, right? But if you think about it, if you think you don't know, right? That's a part of the journey, right?
You don't know, yes.
You know, but you know, if you look back, like you had it in you, you had that spark in you, and you made little steps to get to where you're at now, which is really incredible. Do you have an influencer or someone that you look up to, or that gave you the initial spark that boosted you to get where you're at now? Is there anyone particular? And if there isn't, that's fine.
I will say every now and then, not specifically someone, but a combination of different people. Different people that we see in the media. Okay. From the guy from Amazon to the other guy, you know what I mean? Always looking up to, I love follow business people. Accounts that know, people that know better. and have been learning also on the go, and been in business and whatever field they do, whatever thing they do. But you see year after year how these people like just overcome like all the obstacles and like change it into something positive, and then in fall, but then like clean the dust and then keep going and things like that. So I really find inspiration in just different, and a lot of like obviously I follow some couple of women that are also like coaches like for female entrepreneurs.
Cool.
And like things like that. There is one that I went to a workshop that she's from Montreal, and she's amazing, and she's also like focused on female entrepreneur.
Wow.
And it did help me a lot, because when I was starting like my own thing, like my own business, I don't know shit about like administrations or like anything like that, right?
Yeah.
And also to learn to delegating others, which I know we all struggle, because we're like, I can't do this, I'm gonna do it all, I'm gonna do it. No. It comes to a point that you need to delegate, learn how to delegating others that possess the experience and the skills to help you, to lift you, and they will lift together with you. You're gonna elevate, you're gonna elevate yourself, but you're gonna also elevate everybody else.
A real leader does that.
Exactly.
A real leader, a real leader doesn't only elevate themselves, but elevates the team around them.
Exactly.
Well said. Is there a specific, advice that you received from someone that really stuck to you, even right now?
I will say
anything.
I would say someone that was in business for a very long time, and that I would say helped me to transform like my vision and confidence.
Yeah.
Every time this is something that I it stays in my mind, like it's stuck in my mind, that he used to tell me that tomorrow is a new day. Tomorrow is a new day.
Yeah.
Whatever happened today, whatever you did today, you did one thing today, you got something done today, great. Tomorrow is a new day. Or shit is fucked up, I don't know, like you didn't do. Tomorrow is a new day. It's a brand new day. You're gonna wake up. You're gonna, put your shoes together. Get together, put yourself together, and face the day with a new attitude and with a new energy.
Well said.
Like you have to, keep that in mind.
Well
the
said.
Same thing like with the whole don't take this thing like things personal, like too personal. It is what it is, like I'm not, let go of some things that I'm like it's pointless. You don't have to waste your time.
Of course.
So this type of stuff, but mostly that one. Tomorrow is a new day.
Tomorrow's a new day. Episode 41, Beyond the Views podcast, #1 podcast in the world. You know that. Lorena, Cito, back to Lorena. You know what time it is. Indigo Studios. Let me ask you something now. With your style back then, with your style now, how has your style changed in regards to being a tattoo artist? I'm sure your styles have changed. I know that you have done a lot of cover-ups, which I personally I've never met a tattoo artist that does cover-ups. I haven't met a tattoo artist that likes to do over scars. I think these are areas and scope of works that tattoo artists really don't want to get themselves into. So, you do it all.
Everything.
So, talk to me about how your style has changed from when you first started to now.
Okay, so I would say in general rule, if you're an artist, you're gonna be always like evolving. You're gonna be always either you paint or you tattoo or you draw, you do illustration. It's gonna come to a point that you are gonna elevate the work. You're gonna refine it. You're gonna twist it. You're gonna change some things, and that's how you see the evolve. On an artist. I can show you a painting even from Rembrandt, like from the very beginning of the career, like when he started painting, and then at the end, like that, that wonderful pieces like artwork that he did, that it's been is universal known,
Amazing.
But when it comes to that, absolutely, I've changed like with the years. I can see like the quality of my work. Sometimes I'm so harsh with myself. I'm such a strong critic even of myself, and I look at some photos sometimes and I'm like, ugh, what?
Wow.
Like why? And then I'm doing it now. I'm like, why did they do it this way? But this is like 4 years ago. This is like 6-7 years ago. I'm like, all right. But it is what it is. Like you will constantly pointing even on your own work, like things, and I'm like, what am I like? No.
Yeah.
And then you try to improve for the next one, and the next one you're like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm doing this. So you see that refinement ongoing. When it comes to the cover-ups specifically, it was really funny because I was super young, I was still in my early 20s, and I was doing the cover-ups, and I was already doing good cover-ups. And I said to myself, well, I'm good at I'm good, but there's so many like experience, like way more experienced artists out there that are in the top of the game. Like back then was like on the top of the game, and I'm like, I'm not even
they're close
exposing, you know what I mean? No, because I'm a young kid, man. Like I'm a kid, what the fuck? But it happens that with now, that was one of the first things that appeared that happened, and I ended up being one of the top 5 artists, like the top cover artist, and the only woman. This is why the whole hashtag of Cover Queen happened. Like this is how it started, because it was a bunch of guys and me.
Wow, are you serious?
You know what I mean? So I was like, all right, I guess here I am.
Wow.
Boom. You know?
Wow, good for you.
And then my agenda.
Women empowerment. What's up?
I know. So I'm like,
awesome.
I was so happy, not only because it was me, but it also because it was like, oh my God, there's a woman, there's a girl up there, there's female presence out there, and people is like, oh my God, look at this chick, like look at the cover that this chick is doing, right?
Yeah.
So that's how the cover up, that's how the hashtag Cover Queen started.
Wow.
And then my agenda is specifically for cover ups. It became insane. So many people wanted the cover up. So many people, they travel far. They travel from other countries. They travel from other cities.
Because nobody wants to get into that kind of mess to fix something that's been there.
No.
So like, why do you want to get into that?
You have to have an eye for it. I feel like you have to have an eye for it. For me, it's the challenge.
Yeah.
It's the challenge, because I see it, whatever the condition the tattoo has from before, or whatever the reason is that the person wanted to cover it, you know, and I see it, and somehow I see what's gonna happen, and sometimes the person bring me the ideas, and I'm like, no, this is not going to work. We gotta do this. These are your options. It depends how bad or how you know how much scar tissue the person has, and so, right? And then we decide together.
Wow.
But I see it from before, but definitely not everybody can do a cover up, and I'm pretty good at it.
I'm
pretty good at it.
I'm gonna show them a couple of cover ups right now on the screen. Also scars.
Yes.
So I have a scar here.
Right.
And I got a tattoo done over my scar.
Over the scar.
My scar wasn't that big, right? But I can feel the difference of when the needle went over my scar, and it hurt. And I'll be honest with you, even after the fact, I would sometimes sort of get like a little feeling, something weird. But I've seen you do like big scars and big tattoos, and I just can't even imagine that.
All kinds.
Why doesn't the needle break through that soft skin though? Like,
well, for starters, if you think about it, this is a skin, this is an area on the body. Let's say a big muscle group, right? And this is skin on the body that is being accessed. There's an access to it, cuts, that layers, with the layers down, it creates some scar tissue. You're probably more likely your nerves are gonna be dead on this area, because you got this cut, you got this scar as a result of it, and then it's a very difficult tissue. It's a very difficult type of skin compared to any other parts of the body, So you gotta treat it different. You gotta use different techniques. You gotta keep in mind so many things to elaborate something that it will be a successful cover up. So it's like you gotta think about some things. Sometimes the clients come with the project, we talk about it, we decide, and I say all these little details, and they're like, I didn't even think about that, and I'm like, yeah, but I have to. Because I'm the person doing it. This is why you come to see me, because I have to think about everything, and plus the long quality, the long quality effect, like the has to maintain that tattoo. It gotta look good now, but it gotta look good 10 years from now. You know what I mean? It also has, that's something that I have to think about. It's not only, oh, it looks so pretty now, but what about like a year from now?
And it always looks good.
It
always looks good. It always looks good once you do it, right? But it fades like 30% after a couple weeks, and then from there, you probably have to touch it up in a couple of years, or a couple of years down the road, right? But yeah, you've done a lot of those scars, and I know that when I covered mine, that hurt. That hurt.
Sometimes it could either be like you don't feel anything because the nerves are dead on this area, or you are extremely sensitive on this area. So it's like, so you can go on both extremes, like you can go on both ends, right?
Okay.
I mostly started to do the scars because I got friends and like people that I knew, and like some clients that approached me in regards to the scars because they got plastic surgery done, they got like tummy tucks, they got, and I said, all right, I'm up for the challenge, let's see, we do it. And then all these girls, all these women started to tell all these other women, and then things started to become even more complicated and elaborated, because then I got cancer survivors, then I got transgenders, then I got, you know, so it's all kinds of crazy stuff that I'm doing, right?
Of course.
And it's, you gotta know what you do.
I've always been curious about this. How do tattoo artists practice when you first start?
Oh my
Is it
God.
like a pigskin, or
you
use like, I think
you
like
go through everything. Grapefruits, pigskin.
grapefruits?
Grapefruits, I know, it's crazy.
What?
Grapefruits and yourself, your friends, like it's
Is that how you
crazy.
start,
That's
right?
how you started.
Wow.
In my specific scenario, back when I was with my apprenticeship, they said you gotta tattoo yourself. If it's like a rite of path kind of thing, right?
Really?
It's like you gotta tattoo yourself because, I mean, think about it. Would you do on someone else something that you wouldn't do on yourself?
And
You
yo,
know?
shout out to Anthony. Shout out to Anthony from Han Tattoo, straight up, because he was the first artist that I've ever met who tattooed me.
Yeah.
And he had not one single tattoo. Then I felt like that was so weird. Right?
It is unusual.
But then it was weird because then when I seen him again, you know, he had a full sleeve.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay, so yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying.
But also in my mind I said, and I don't have anything against, like, if you're an artist, let's say for the beginning you have a background as an artist, and then you become for whatever reason you become a tattooer, right? And you don't have any tattoos at all, or you have maybe like a couple of little ones. I'm not saying it's wrong, or I'm not gonna shame on people.
No,
I'm not,
no, for
you know
sure.
what I mean? I can't judge and like say, you gotta get these tattoos. I'm not doing that, but it's definitely helpful for the tattoo artist, obviously, to have everything. In my case, everything I have, because I know and I understand every single thing that's happening, all the parts of the body that I have tattooed, from the aftercare, from the healing process, from like what to expect, you know, what to do. And then I can tell, I can be like, well, Cito, you got this tattoo over here. I know exactly what you felt, man, because I have
You get it.
You know,
Oh,
I
you've
have
had it. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's kind of funny because I have a good friend of mine. She's a young artist. She's one of my closest friends. I love her to death. And I tell her all the time, you're a tattoo artist. You need to get more tattoos.
Really?
Because people need to trust you. You know, and I keep telling her this, and I'm like, you need to get something. Also, because I want to tattoo her.
Yeah, well, but to be honest with you, to be fair, like, I thought it was a little weird that a guy was tattooing me without any tattoos himself.
True,
so I was like, sort of like, what do you really know much about tattoos? You don't really even breathe it, right?
Exactly.
In a way, but like he was great, and he did a great job.
But if you see, like, if you go back into, like, in general in the industry of tattooing, like all these big names out there of tattoo artists in the industry, they're all cover. They're all cover, like head to toe, face, neck, this, that. Because it's a journey. It's a journey, and you are part of that journey. It's a lifestyle. And then you understand exactly what's happening, and even some of the tattoo artists have shitty ass tattoos. I'm like, but they know, they went through that. They're like, man, this is shit. Like, don't do it this way, do it that way, you know. So they know what's up, you know. So sometimes that's why, you know, it happens. But the younger guys, like millennials, our dear millennials, so they are now having all these trendy, like, little tattoos here and there, very like flashy looking, and, like, you know, it's cute. I like it. I think I mean, it's just like, it depends on your style in general, you know, your aesthetics, you know.
Right.
But I always say, tattoo artists, you should have tattoos.
Yeah, straight up. Would you change anything with your journey and how it went and how everything played out? Would there be any regrets or any changes? Looking back to the younger Lorena that you would tell her? I would say
that I could have got out of my comfort zone sooner than what I did.
Okay.
In some scenarios, sometimes I was like, oh my God, you know, and I was terrified because you're young and you don't know. You're like, I'm about to jump into something that I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know what to expect.
But you need to definitely. I understand this with the years. Obviously, I'm 35 now, so like, I understand this with the years. Like, you need to get used to it to be uncomfortable. Get out of that comfort zone. Like, started to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. You know, and so that will take you to the next level and, like, to, you know, evolve. And that's exactly what happened. It took me such a long time to realize, you know what, I want to do these things this way. I want to do these things my way, and I want to, you know. And it took me a long time. It took me a while sometimes to
That's
sink,
the journey.
to sink and be like, no, yeah, I gotta do it. I gotta jump. I gotta do it. And just like close my eyes and be like, oh, and that and do it.
Jump and get it done.
But you know, nothing but great things came out of that. Like I have no regrets whatsoever when it comes to that. But sometimes I'm like, why didn't do this before? Like why didn't do this opportunity and like did it before? And I'm like, oh my god! But you know. You learn when they go. It's like, it's part of it.
The All the Views Podcast, episode 41, Cito Lorena, Indigo Studios. What I do want to ask you now is, what is one thing that you just fucking hate about what you do? If you had to pick one thing.
I would say, I don't know, because I truly love what I do. So
okay. What about like tattoo artists? You guys must have a pet peeve with clients because like servers and bartenders, like, you know, sometimes we'll be in the kitchen, we'll talk shit about that table because they told me to get them salt and a bunch of shit 100 times.
I was about to tell you this. I'm like, so
you guys have your language in the world as well. So give me one. Give us one so that we don't fuck up.
I would say hate, but I would say definitely if you are in this industry and you want to work in this industry, you want to make it happen, you know, make it, you know, in this industry, you need to have some serious people skills. If you don't have people skills and you don't have patience with your clients and like how the situation is happening, you know, whatever you're doing, then this is not for you. Yeah. Because you gotta, you're doing artwork, you're doing amazing artwork, but you gotta remember that it's a living canvas, per se, right?
Yes.
This is lying forever on someone that more likely is gonna be lying down over there on pain, you know, because you have to deal with that, and you gotta coach them kind of through the session. And sometimes you gotta be like very patient with the clients, and sometimes some clients, my assistant,
I know,
my secretary, like sometimes I'm dead serious about this one. Please don't judge.
No judge zone.
Sometimes like she screenshots like some emails that I get, and she's like,
"It's
is
ridiculous.
This for real?"
It's ridiculous.
It's like, is this for real? I'm like, yeah.
And by the way, don't you dare be 20 minutes late for your your tattoo sessions with you, because that might cause you some shit right there.
Please, thank you.
Or like you said, please at least call, give her heads up.
I know.
Don't just show up 20 minutes late.
I know, because what happens is like more likely if you say, well, you only have one client a day and that's that's how it's happening. It's not a biggie, maybe, you know. But in my world, I'm going to with an agenda. And if I separate this time for you, I'm actually respecting this is the time that I'm dedicating for you and to you. So you gotta be here on time. You gotta be here on time so we can make everything happen. We can do the project, then you can go home happy with your tattoo, you know? Because probably I have you and then I have an hour literally to have my lunch.
So you can
and then I have another client, you know what I mean? So I was like, don't be late, please.
Yeah, in your next life, you won't be a tattoo artist. What would you be?
I would be probably something related with healing.
Cool.
Something related with healing.
Something like holistic.
Something holistic.
Changing
or like
energies.
Something healing people. Something. I wouldn't say medical, because I'm not gonna sit here and be like, I want to be a doctor. I don't know that.
Cool.
I have relatives and family that are doctors that are amazing in what they're doing, the specialties, you know. And I've seen the years of studying and the constant evolving on the medical field, you know. And it's insane. Like, it's a very difficult career. It's a very difficult career. So shout out to those people out there, including my cousins who are doctors out there. Because I know it's difficult. But I would say probably something related with like healing. And you know what? At some level, I would say that tattoo, I have like this inside jokes that I say to the clients. So I said, don't worry, you're gonna come here, you're gonna get a good TNT.
Okay.
And they're like, TNT? And I'm like, yeah, tattoo and therapy. Tattoo and therapy.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
I'm this close to take that to the bank,
That's
you know?
Awesome. That's amazing.
Because I was like, you know what, I'm gonna hashtag this as a TNT, because definitely you come here, I may not know anything about you when you first walked in and I'm tattooing you, but by the time that you go, I know everything about you. You talk to me about your life, your family, your children, your partner, your love life. We crack jokes, like when I give you some advices. I maybe be like, you know, maybe you are doing, you know, and we create that relationship. It's a relationship. You create that relationship. I have clients that have been coming to see me for get tattoos for over a decade.
Wow.
So it's a relationship.
It is.
You build a relationship with
relationships,
people.
yeah.
But then it's a good healing. It's a good healing therapy. We both
you get to meet different people, different backgrounds, different stories.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. It's
crazy.
That's really cool.
I can tattoo, as insane as it sounds, I can tattoo from a pimp to an escort to a judge to a
doctor,
CEO,
anything.
Anybody. You can have anyone sitting in this chair. So it's like
amazing. Beyond the Views podcast, episode 41. What I do want to ask as well is, not everything is roses and butterflies with tattoo artists. Do you get a lot of, the sorry, I refuse to do that vision that you have respectfully? Do you get the, sorry, I don't have enough money on me to pay you? Do you get the just no shows? Do you get a lot of that ugliness side of things?
I will say I have to deal with some of that at the very beginning of my career, because obviously you're building your clientele, you have to grow, like learning
from your mistakes.
Exactly. But in general rule, I think I barely had any of that. Amazing. But I create around myself like a structure, like a somehow,
to avoid any of that.
Exactly, to avoid it. In the case of the non-shows, like I always have like a cancellation list, like a long cancellation list. So non-show, all right. So I have always someone that's gonna be jumping on that spot. I am always busy because I create for myself, like, a system that works, and then it helped me to just like solve like those uncomfortable situations, and it comes to that. When it comes to like the not wanting to do something, I always explain the person, in the case of the covers or the case of the beginning, like the project from scratch. If I say no, this is something that I clarify, and I always say to people, please, if I say no, or if I say this won't work, I will explain you why. Like why this is not going to work for you.
Amazing.
Why this is not going to, and explain you why. In the case of people having like a budget, we all know tattoos ain't cheap. I know that. I'm conscious about that. I'm also very aware that I'm not the cheapest artist in the city. I'm also not the most expensive artist in the city. Let's just put that out there.
But you're well known as the quickest artist.
But I'm quick and I'm fast, so I know like the worth or like the balance. Like
you put in your time.
Exactly, and the experience and the skill. So let's say that you got a budget. If you got a budget, I always say, what is your budget? Let's say the budget is like $1,000. So I will always try to figure it out, something that works for that budget.
That's good.
If the project is too big, and I said, well, yeah, we're gonna do as much as we can in this session for this budget, and then, but yeah, for sure, you gotta go back, and then we finish in another. I mean, it's always, you can always communicate and solve things, like, as a professional, like just be professional and talk and communicate with the clients. The clients love it. Like the clients are always pro that. Like the clients are always like, what about this? What about that? If they want to get something really complicated and they say, oh, Lorena, I have like $400. Seriously, I even crack jokes.
You gotta be halfway, right?
But I even crack jokes and I'm like, seriously?
What are you gonna do with that, right?
What am I supposed to do with this?
Maybe a little rose or something.
So, exactly. So I know sometimes it's not gonna fulfill the needs or like what the person wants to do. And this is why I create, like, we come up with the piggy bank system for myself at least, because it's genius, The person, I have clients that send me every week like $150, $200. By the time that they come for the appointment is paid. I cannot offer you a paid plan,
That's a good system.
But it's a very good system, and because I book in general like months in advance, you have plenty of times to plan your finances, like your situation, and then you can come see me and we do some real good tattoos, you know what I mean? Like
That's awesome. Well said. Well said. We're gonna end off with episode 41 here. Just letting anyone know that's watching you right now, that wants to go in your footsteps and become a tattoo artist, or overall just an entrepreneur. Female empowerment for all the females out there. That have.
And all my Latina women out there, I know all my mommies out there. You're working so hard. You got children. You got your family. You gotta put your bread on the table. I know this. Just please, whatever you're doing whatever you decide to do in your life, just try to do it with passion, because that way it will become something that you're gonna wake up every morning and you're gonna feel like, you know what, let's go, let's get it.
Amazing. And when we give our flowers from Beyond the Views podcast, we're only using roses from Vibrantly Bloomed. You can go to Vibrantly Bloomed and check them out. Also, I just want to say I appreciate your time. I had a good time. We all got to know you.
Yes.
Shout out to everybody in Havana Cuba. Shout out to all the people back home watching. Just know that anything is possible. Anything is possible. You just got to get yourself in the most, toughest situations, but that's what makes you stronger as a person.
Exactly. A toda mi gente linda que esté mirando el podcast, because you know what, sometimes they ask me, you speak Spanish?
Oh,
Yo sí
yeah.
hablo español.
Yeah.
A toda mi gente latina, a toda mi gente linda de Toronto, Canadá, a toda mi gente latina que está viendo el podcast, un saludo muy grande. Los quiero muchísimo. I really hope that you enjoy the interview and you enjoy Ciro, like he's my man here.
Thank you. Muchas gracias, mi gente.